Good morning, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 10 o'clock, September 27th. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay. The purpose of today's meeting and the sole purpose of today's meeting is to just discuss the staffing changes at the COA and ramifications of scheduling and things like that, if there are any at short term. I will ask if anyone's here for open forum. Okay, we'll move on. Keith, would you like to lead the conversation?
Sure, if you don't mind.
Please.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody for going to meet off regular schedule hours. As everybody knows, Mary Beth has resigned. The last day is today. On Tuesday evening, the Board of Selectmen appointed Holly as the interim COA director. She will be taking over the oversight and management of the facility. Any assistance that I can provide to Holly, she knows, pick up the phone day or night, and we'll work together as best we can. And I'm sure she'll work very well with the COA advisory board as well. We have not advertised that for the COA director position. I'm going to have that conversation with the board probably on October 8th. If the advisory board is interested at all, be happy to share with you the job description of the council on aging director so you can take a peek at it. And if you have any suggested changes to it, if you could either get them to me directly or work through the chair, whatever the chair's preference is on process as far as that goes. I'll get copies for everybody today before you leave. And if you just want to scratch out what you think some changes would be fantastic. If there are significant changes, I don't want to burden you guys. I'm not sure when the next meeting is, but if there are significant changes that one or more of you want to make, I think it might make some sense to have the advisory board meet and vote on whether or not the majority of the advisory board agrees with those changes. Hoping to get it advertised shortly after the 8th. What I foresee happening is the process is similar to the one we used when we hired the current director. Have a committee of the HR manager, one or two of the council on aging board members, and maybe another department head do the initial, screen all the resumes, decide who they want to interview, bring those people in for interviews, and then recommend 2 or 3 finalists to me that I would do a second interview with. Then I'll make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. So that was the process. So because I'd like to include as many people who are going to be impacted by this as I can in the process. And get somebody on board as quick as we could. Holly and I have had a couple of brief conversations about the scheduling. There was some concerns about having adequate staffing during the current hours that the COA is open. My understanding is that there's a quilting group that's there on Tuesday evenings after the building closes, correct?
Well, the building stays open till 7:30.
Yep.
Those are
And they're
posted hours.
Still there, right?
They come in around 5,
Yeah.
between 4:30 and 5.
So I think, I think we would have to potentially work with the quilters a little bit in case they're going beyond 7:30 to make sure they understand how to open and close the doors, lock the doors. But I think at least initially we can try to keep the same hours as the COA is open now, open moving forward through this transition period. And try to keep things as consistent for the members of the COA if we possibly can. Any thoughts, concerns? I wanted to meet with this group, before meeting with the Board of Selectmen, to make sure that, that any concerns, issues, thoughts that the board should be made aware of, as far as the interim period, get your feedback on that. So, so we got so I can have that, have the board know what those concerns or issues may be. If anybody wants to come to the board meeting on the 8th of October, it is a busy agenda. I will warn you of that. There'll be a couple of things we'll have to deal with before this agenda topic gets on, but we'll try to get it on as quickly as we can, as early on in the evening as we can.
And what do you think would be on the Board of Selectmen agenda? Concerning
Just
this?
getting, if there's some suggested changes in the job description.
Okay,
Do you need a change? If there's any suggested job changes, we'll get those brought forward in front of them. Make them aware that the suggestion is, at least at this particular time, if there's no change in operating hours. And just get their blessing to post the position. It's more, I think it's more of a housekeeping thing, unless your group has significant changes to make, which I don't think I don't expect it there to be. But we'll see.
so it sounds like we'll get a copy of the job description.
I'll get it to you today. I meant to bring it with me this morning, and I didn't.
That's fine.
So I apologize.
Go ahead, Lucy, if you have a question.
When you interview the next person or presents, is it, can you have a couple of the seniors there at the meeting so they can ask the questions that we would like to ask them?
So a couple of things. I'm open to anything. That being said, when we did it last time, we had, I believe, and I don't know, Joe, if you were there.
Yes.
There was at least one, if not two, of the COA advisory board members there. And and the purpose of that is, obviously, you guys, this group works closely with the director, but also you're the kind of the eyes and ears of the members.
But if we had a couple of members at that interview
Mhm.
with questions that don't affect us, but affect them. All right, this is where I'm coming to.
Well, so I would make a suggestion, if there are questions from the general center population, those questions and concerns should be brought to a board
you,
member
and then we ask the questions because.
Yeah.
on behalf of. If we're, whoever is on our committee, whoever of us is on the interview committee could then bring those questions forward. I think that would be a better.
Because what I'm
process.
saying is what we see is not what they see.
Well, I understand.
Yeah.
So we're inviting everybody to bring questions and concerns or thoughts or things to that, like of that nature to us.
Mhm.
And we'll make sure whoever it is that's on from us is on this interview committee.
Yep.
We'll
Yeah, we absolutely
raise those
want to have input from
Mhm.
everybody. And
Yeah.
again, my thought process is that if we have advisory board members in the room doing the interviews, they'll be there. What I've learned, I think, is that some of the members over there are comfortable talking to the advisory board members, and they'll voice their concerns to whoever those people are. They're going to do the interviews, and they can share those questions, comments, concerns with the candidates during the interview process.
And if they're not comfortable, we do now have an email address. They're very welcome to
Sure.
send
So
stuff into.
What I would suggest either through Holly or through, the advisory board is some sort of as we get a little bit closer and have the process down, maybe send out an email blast or the newsletter that's done. You could have an article in there talking about the fact that there's an opportunity for COA members to make the board aware of a topic or a question that they'd like to ask. And we'll get those questions addressed. So absolutely.
Yep. Makes sense. Okay, does anyone else at the table have a question? Any other things? So, my only real question for you, you've already addressed, is whether or not there would be any impacts to the scheduling. So just to recap on that, the plan is to keep the hours of the center open as is, with some adjustments of, giving permission or the people that would be there after a staff member may have left. We'll make sure that they properly trained to close the building.
Yeah, we want to make sure that, the proper staff people are there when the building's open. So, we've got a great staff. I'm sure that they'll step up just like Holly has.
Sure.
And, we'll work our way through this.
I'll just ask in general, just to throw this out there, please be patient with us, with everybody. There's changes. They may not be completely smooth. Everybody has to understand that there's only 3 people working in that building right now. And there may not be, things may not run completely smoothly in the interim. And everybody needs to have some patience while we figure out the process forward. So I will just ask that.
Offer you help if you need anything.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're trying as best we can to provide as high a level of service to the members of that building as we possibly can. If people have some suggestions, I'm sure Holly will be happy to hear what they are. Obviously, there's been a number of changes that have occurred in the last couple of years. At some point, some of those may or may not be revisited. I think it's important for people to recognize that we're not going to turn the clock back 2 years ago tomorrow.
Moving forward.
We're moving forward, and if there are some things that the advisory board thinks need to be reconsidered, then there's an opportunity to do that. But there's been a lot of good things that have been done over the last couple of years, and unfortunately, no matter what decision's made, we're not going to make everybody happy. And we're trying to do what's best for the majority of the people who visit that building. So I appreciate your words. Please be patient. If you have some suggestions, I'd ask you to
Bring them forward
share those with Holly or the board and
or email. Yep.
in a polite, civil manner.
Great. Anyone else at the table have any questions or comments?
I appreciate everybody's help and support with this, and it's great to have so many members of the COA community here. We have a lot of work to do. We understand that, but I can assure you that we will walk out of this transition time stronger than we went into it.
Can I say something?
No, I'm sorry. Well, we don't,
It's not,
yeah.
I've
Well,
been shut down before, so.
Well, it's not, so I'm gonna.
it's not.
It's not that you're being shut down. This is a board meeting that doesn't have public comment because
We had an open forum opportunity.
For business meetings, yeah.
Not everybody was there at that point. That's okay. We're fine.
Okay, but you were.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Keith, do you have any last comments before we adjourn?
No, I look forward to, helping you guys through.
You're gonna leave us your private number before you go. So we can
I absolutely will.
contact.
I'll put it on the screen. I don't mind.
All right, everybody. Well, it's 10:14 and I'm going to call the meeting adjourned. Thank you very much for coming.